Okay, we're now recording. Okay, while I get set up, a reminder, there was no class yesterday, but I did send out a video and you're still responsible for that material. I think I only did maybe 3 or 4 problems. Okay, so you're responsible for that material. You know, sometimes students say, oh, teacher cancel class, so there's nothing. And no, I still made a video and you should have gotten that. Okay, so if you didn't look at the video from yesterday, even though there was no class, there was still a video. I did some problems. So you're still responsible for that. So please look back at the video if you didn't get a chance to look at it already. Okay, so let me go ahead, get set up. Today's formal lecture is not going to be that long. Okay, it makes the assumption that you did look over yesterday's stuff. So if you haven't done it, please do so. So we're here. As I mentioned in the video yesterday, skip problem 15. It's way too long. It was a 7th degree polynomial on page 958. Problem 15, x to the 7th, blah, blah, blah. That borders on torture. So I decided not to do that one. Okay, I did show you in the video how do you do most of the rest of 1 through 13. So please look that up. All I have on schedule today is 17 and 19. I'll get that out of the way. Okay, and then you can ask me questions about the test as much or as little as you want. And then if we end early enough, I'll just go straight to the quiz. You know, we won't even bother with the second half. I'll just say, here's the quiz. When you're done, you can just leave, and that's about it. Okay, and then if you want to show up to STARS review session this afternoon, 5 to 6, you may do that. Okay, so I'm going to mark this off because we're just about done. I have 2 problems to do. Should not take me that long. Okay, so if you already have questions you want to ask about 11.1 through 13.5 today, you can do that. But if you want to wait and do STARS review session, that's fine, or Mackenzie's review, that's also okay too. Okay, so remaining calendar. We're here, knock off 13.5, then quiz. Okay, so our last regular exam is Monday. Okay, 6th exam, usual rules, coverage 11.1 to 13.5. Turn all of this in for homework. Okay, I'll let you start turning it in early. So even after class, if you want to turn it in, that's fine. But again, ground rules has to be turned in by half an hour after the test ends, right? So Monday, class will end as usual by 1 o'clock. So you have until 1:05 to submit the test and 1:30 for the homework, right? And then Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, we'll review for the final exam. Say, how do I study for the final exam? Just study the old exams and I'll review them. So I'll review the last exam on Tuesday. I mean, it's nice to have that the day after. And then I'll probably go back to test 1. And then Wednesday, test 2 and 3, and Thursday, 4 and 5. That'll be the review session. Okay, and that's it until the final exam. So notice our final exam is Monday the 24th, 11:10 to 1:40. Okay, how do I study the exam? Study the previous exams. I usually give about 10 questions per test. So final exam, how about 20? And 6 tests. So 6 times 3 is 18. So I'll pick like maybe 3 questions from every test and then maybe a couple others. As far as formula sheets are concerned, you can have all the previous formula sheets. So the formula sheet you have for the first test, second test, third test, and so on, bring them all in. You're still building maybe the 6th test, just bring them all in for the final exam. So you can have 6 cheat sheets. Okay. All right, and I do have to give you a heads up. I had to cancel class yesterday. There's a chance, you know, because of circumstances, I may have to cancel 1 or more of these other days coming up. But if that's the case, I'll go ahead and make a video. So just a heads up, I may have to skip out again. But if that's the case, I'll just do like yesterday, make a video, you watch the video and go from there. I'll get you through the semester. Don't worry about that. You know, you'll still have your exam 6 and a final exam. You know, that should not still be an issue. Okay. All right, so we're going to be done real fast today. I just have the 2 problems, 17 and 19. Then I'll be finished. And then think about any questions you might want to ask since I'll be done shortly. And when that's done, I'll give you the quiz. And maybe we're finished real early today, or we can go through the entire, you know, 2 hours to 1 o'clock if you have a lot of questions. That's completely up to you. So you folks would generate the questions and tell me how long you want this class to stay today, I suppose. Okay. All right, so let me check the chat real quickly, and anybody has a question ahead of time? So I think I think I'm caught up. All right, so go straight to our last two problems. So come up with a quadratic equation with rational coefficients that has one of the given roots. Okay. So 17. R1 is 1 plus radical 6. All right, so from what we said before, solutions come in conjugate pairs. So if R1 is 1 plus radical 6, the other one must be 1 minus radical 6, right? And now come up with a quadratic equation that has these two solutions. Okay, so remember we said before, it's a lot easier. Suppose it just said one of the roots is 5, then you know you're going to go x minus 5. Okay, or if one of them was -3, you would go x minus a -3 or x plus 3. Okay, so in other words, I'm going to go x minus whatever's behind this and x minus whatever's behind this. Okay, so my polynomial is 1 minus parentheses 1 plus radical 6 and 1 minus parentheses 1 minus radical 6. Sorry, not 1x. It should be x's. Let me see. X minus 1 plus radical 6, x minus 1 minus radical 6. Okay, and just like yesterday, so if you saw yesterday's video, you know what I'm talking about. If you haven't seen it, you might be a little lost there, but you just distribute. So x minus 1 minus radical 6, distributing, and x minus 1 plus radical 6, distributing, double negative. Okay, and notice x minus 1, that's the same. That's like A, and this is like B. So it's like A minus B, A plus B. A minus B, A plus B is A squared minus B squared. So it's x minus 1 squared minus radical 6 squared. Okay. So x squared minus 2x plus 1 minus radical 6 squared is 6. So x squared minus 2x minus 5. And that's the polynomial. That's it. How can you check that? Quadratic formula. Okay, so if I set this equal to 0, x squared minus 2x minus 5 equals 0, you're allowed to put the quadratic formula on your formula sheet. So A is 1, B is -2, C is -5. So negative B, -2, plus or minus the square root of B squared, -2 square root is 4, minus 4 times A, which is 1, times C, which is -5, over 2 times A. So this is double negative. 4 minus a minus 20, right? 4 plus 20 is 24. 2 plus or minus radical 24 over 2. 24 is 4 times 6. 4 times 6 divided by 2. Factor out the 4, 2. 2 plus or minus 2 radical 6 over 2. Divide 2, divide 2. 1 plus or minus radical 6. 1 plus radical 6, 1 minus radical 6. We got it. Perfect. Okay. Okay, there's only one more problem, folks, although it's a little bit longer than this one. right? So it's not as fast as this, but I'll still be done very soon because of the fractions, a little bit tougher. Number 19, R1 is 2 plus radical 10 over 3. Okay, they want the leading coefficient to be 1, so I'll show you how to do that. R1 is 2 plus radical 10 over 3. Okay, so I'll be finished within 5 minutes, I'd say. So if you want to even now start putting questions in the chat for review for the test, you may, but if not, we're going to take the quiz and then we're finished. Okay, so automatically, if 2 plus radical 10 over 3 is a solution, what's the other one? 2 minus radical 10 over 3. All right, so just like before, my polynomial is x minus each of these. It's just a little bit clumsier because of the fractions. So polynomial p of x is x minus parentheses 2 plus radical 10 over 3. And then paren x minus paren 2 minus radical 10 over 3. Like that. Okay, very messy. Okay, I will distribute. It's going to be x minus 2/3 minus radical 10 over 3, x minus 2/3 plus radical 10 over 3. Okay, so I distribute x minus 2/3, x minus 2/3. So that's the same, except there's going to be a minus radical 10 over 3 and a plus radical 10 over 3. Okay. So x minus 2/3 minus radical 10 over 3 x minus 2/3 plus radical 10 over 3. Like so. Okay. So again, that is the same as that. That is the same as that. So same pattern, a minus b, a plus b, which is a squared minus b squared. So x minus 2/3 squared minus radical 10/3 squared. Okay, so x squared minus 2ab, 2 times x times 2/3 is 4/3 x, plus b squared, 2/3 squared is 4/9. Whoops, minus. Radical 10 over 3 squared is 10/9. So let's see, 4/9 minus 10/9 is 6/9. X squared minus 4/3 x minus 6/9 or 2/3. And that's my polynomial. Write your answers for the coefficient of x squared is 1. So there it is. That's my polynomial. Now, let me actually double check that. Equals 0. I could use a quadratic formula here, but I don't want to plug in fractions, right? Clear the fractions. How about multiply both sides by 3? You say, do I have to do that? No, but would you rather have fractions or no fractions, right? You want a b of negative 4/3 and a c of negative 2/3? I don't, and if I don't, you probably don't. This is way better, right? 0 times 3 is 0. So use the quadratic formula on that. I like that better, right? All right, so A is 3, B is -4, C is -2. And here we go. So -b, +4 plus or minus the square root of b squared, -4 square root of 16, minus 4 times A times C all over 2 times A. Okay, and yes, I do see one problem in the chat, so I'll get to that eventually. Let's see, it says 3.4. I assume you mean 13.4, I'm guessing. 13.4, problem 19. Okay. All right, anybody else wants to type something in the chat, you may. Otherwise, again, we'll be done pretty early. Okay, this is a double negative, so that's plus, right? 16 plus 4 times 3 times 2 is 24. 16 plus 24, scratch paper. So 4 plus or minus radical 40 divided by 6. 40 is 2 times 10. Square root of 4 comes outside and becomes a 2. And let's see, factor out a 2, right? 2 parentheses, 2 plus or minus radical 10 divided by 6. Cancel, cancel, 3 in the bottom. 2 plus or minus radical 10 over 3. And that's exactly what we got over here. Yes, it works. Okay, I'm finished with that, folks. So let me do the problem in the chat also, but let me do the focus thing, get this out of the way. And then this side. And there we go. Okay, so now see 13.419. Okay, somebody asked for 13.419. And that's all I see right now. So after I do 13.419, if nobody else has anything, we'll go straight to the quiz and then we're done. 13.419. Four x cubed plus x squared is 20x minus 5 equals 0. See, 4x cubed plus x squared minus 20x minus 5 equals 0. Okay. So for this one, yeah, this could get long. Let's see what the possible rational roots are. Just bear with me and save some time here. So the possible rational roots are plus or minus factor of 5 divided by factor of 4. So that's plus or minus 1 or 5, 1, 2, 4. Okay, that's a lot of things to try, admittedly. Okay, so that would be plus or minus 1 divided by all of these. 1 over 1, 1 over 2, 1 over 4. Plus or minus, and then 5 divided by all of them, plus or minus 5, plus or minus 5 over 2, plus or minus 5 over 4. Okay, now, unless you can see something right away, this is going to be long. So I probably would not have you do this entire problem, on the exam. It just takes too long. Okay, for brevity's sake for today, I'll just go ahead and tell you what one of the solutions was. See, one of the solutions comes out to be -1/4. Okay, but if you wouldn't get that until you actually try them all. Okay, so yeah, if I give you something like that, including today's quiz, okay, it would have to be something that you can kind of tell right away. Let's see if -1/4 actually works. -1/4, 4, 1, -20, -5, 4. Okay, multiply, add, multiply, add, multiply, add. It works. So P of X is equal to, how do I read this? X plus 1/4, 4x squared plus 0x minus 20. Okay, which is a lot better if I factor out the 4 and then place it over here. It's nice. So 4 times x plus 1/4 x squared minus 5. Okay, so x squared minus 5 equals 0. Move over to the 5, x squared equals 5. So x is plus or minus radical 5. Okay, so we got it all. So for P of X, I will distribute the 4 to make it look nicer. So 4x plus 1, x minus radical 5, x plus radical 5. Okay, so the original polynomial is now completely factored. Remember, if it's third degree, there has to be 3 factors, and there also has to be 3 roots if we allow for multiplicity. And the roots are -1/4 and plus or minus radical 5. And there we go. Okay, 13.1, number 3. Number 3. X squared minus 6x minus 2. Divided by x plus 5. Okay, this can actually be done by synthetic division. Okay, maybe I'll go ahead and show you both. So by regular long division, x into x squared is x. Now multiply this all out. X squared plus 5x, x squared plus 5x. Subtract. That cancels out. -6 minus 5 is -11x. Bring down to -2. X into -11x is -11. And now -11 times this whole thing, -11x minus 55. Subtract. Sorry, that's 55. -2 minus a minus 55 is 53. So plus 53 over x plus 5. Okay, and just for fun, show you synthetic division. 1, -6, -2. If a factor is x plus 5, I don't put a 5 here. Remember what I put? -5, right? 1, -5, -11, 55, 53. And how do I read that? X minus 11 with a remainder of 53, and that's exactly what we have over here also. Okay. All right, I think I've caught up from the chat. If anybody joined late, put your name in the chat so I can get you for attendance. Okay, and I think I've caught up. Let me look at the chat one more time. Yeah, I think that's it. Okay, anybody else, please? Otherwise, we'll go straight to the quiz and we're done. Give you just a moment more in case anybody has a question. All right, go straight to the quiz. All right, so Monday, I'll still let you ask questions at the beginning, and when that stops, we will go straight to the exam, the last regular exam. Okay. Oh. Okay, so we're done with the material, folks. No more material. Okay, so you know what to do. Finish all this homework by Monday. If you already finish it right after class, you can submit it. You can start submitting it. But otherwise, you have until half an hour after the test on Monday. So 1:30 on Monday afternoon to submit it. Okay, so questions and answers, then we'll take the test. And then after that, we're just going to review for the final exam. Okay. Okay, here we go for the quiz. So get ready to do a screenshot or take a picture on your cell phone. Okay, completely factor P of X is X cubed minus 5X squared minus X plus 5. This is very similar to last week's quiz, except last week's quiz, you were given one of the solutions. This time you're not. Okay, use the rational root theorem for possible choices. This should not be that hard to find possible choices, even though you're not given a guess. Okay, and once you get one factor, you're down to a second degree. Once you get second degree, quadratic formula is the way to go. Okay, so I'll hold this for another maybe 15, 20 seconds. So please do a screenshot by that time or get it on your cell phone. And then I'll set up your breakout rooms. When you finish, submit it, and then have a good weekend. Just prepare for the test for Monday. Okay, I will now assume that everybody has this. The polynomial P of X is X cubed minus 5X squared minus X plus 5. Factor it completely. Okay, use the rational root theorem as necessary. Okay, so let's see, let me check the chat. Okay, so I'll stop the share. I'm turning off the